Okay, Cantina Club. Hello, God bless you all. I'm here in Nashville at the Comic-Con convention, having a very nice time and talking to your representatives here. So good luck to you all. Have a wonderful life. God bless you.
We all know around here, Solo always does shots first. Singing Yo No, raise your glass and sing Yo No.
Well, if they kill Gideon off, I could see Thrawn getting an intro at the very end of the next one.
Of the next episode, or
Like
the next
ominous,
the end of the season. Yeah, exactly.
But I think there's a reason he's missing, because Pelayan didn't seem eager to explain where Thrawn is,
Right.
So I think he actually, I don't know if the Imperials even know where he is.
Okay,
Maybe they're looking for him.
Who was that from was that the actual character? And it was a character from Expanded Universe? Or no, Legends?
Pelayan,
From Legends, yeah.
Captain
Legends.
Pelion, wherever you pronounce it.
Captain
Yeah,
Pelayan.
He was the Imperial captain that served under Thrawn in the original Expanded Universe books,
okay.
Heir to the Empire and all that. And he went on to be the kind of president or chancellor or whatever of the Imperial Remnant once they made an alliance or made peace with the New Republic.
Okay.
And there was an Imperial, there ended up being an Imperial sector of space in the Expanded Universe, and he was like the leader of that because he never really wanted war. He was kind of tired of war, I think, but he respected Thrawn and was, served Thrawn loyally and all that. But he was the one who kind of capitulated the Imperial surrender, I believe, after Thrawn died in the books. So he kind of became a good guy.
It sounds like one of my friends who just reread the Thrawn books, the originals and then whatever the new ones are, wondered how much of the original material they were going to include now in the TV series. So it's interesting. There's more and more. It seems like they're drawing from.
They're references, yeah, but they're
Legends.
like reinventions because you can't. That timeline doesn't exist.
Doesn't technically exist. Yeah.
So they're just using it as to fill out. Captain Pelayan is with Thrawn, and it makes you wonder how much they're gonna draw from all that. But
so we kind of hit the ground running. We kind of hit the ground running this week. We're already doing our discussion of episode 7 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So we're just going to kind of continue on from here. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I wish we could do this live. That would be fun. But we get sued for having Mandalorian audio coming over live or something.
Exactly.
But what did you guys think of the episode? I mean, we just watched it.
Right, yeah, it's very fresh.
Totally fresh, right out of the oven.
Right out of the front door.
Right out of the forge.
My mouth is still burning from taking a big bite of that.
Yeah, my I feel like Paz Vizsla's gun at the end.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it very much. I mean, that was one of the best episodes they've ever done in all 3 seasons. That was intense from the beginning to the end. The story was great. The characterizations are great. We really got a serious dose, probably the heaviest dose of Mandalore culture that we've had in the whole series yet. To just seeing the meeting of the two sides of Mandalorian culture, and it kind of where it went from there. And the effects were great. The ship, I mean, that was amazing. The ship on the planet surface. Yeah, that was I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. What about you, Gundark?
I can now forgive them for the 20 people that they had of the population of the Siege of Navarro a couple episodes ago.
The unforgivable sin.
I can see where the money went.
The money went to this episode, and hopefully next week too.
Yeah, this is what
I'm beginning
we've been
to think
waiting
the whole
for.
season a whole season budget goes to like 3 episodes or something.
Right.
Like the first one, the first or second one where they do
Yeah.
they do some kind of spectacle, and then the last 2, and the rest are it's like a bargain they make, a devil's bargain they make to get this made, and
It's
that's
like
why
we
the
can
story
produce
is
3
so slow.
cinematic quality episodes that are incredible, but the payment for that is some want episodes.
But the special effects and design and everything are top notch on the rest of the episodes. I'm not saying they are.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's not like some
practically
episodes
nothing
like
happens a
Chintzy
lot
or
of
something.
times.
Yeah. Yeah, the effects in this, the ship shots at the beginning, even just the hovering of that
incredible.
massive
Yeah.
ship coming over
Mhm.
Navarro, that was just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Star
was
Wars Star Wars
something.
has a way of winning you over with the technology and the ships and the armor and the
Yeah,
weapons. I
always.
don't know how they always do it, but yeah. The only critique I'm going to get out of the way immediately for me was there's so much exposition in this.
Yes, I felt that at the
Because
beginning,
they
especially.
had to cram it all in one
Yeah.
episode for
Right.
the
And I
probably
thought
what's going
I
to be
felt
an
most of it
action
was
packed
necessary.
end.
It didn't feel like it was
Yeah.
too much to me. I didn't take it as being like, oh, why don't they just get on with it? You know?
No, Star Wars has always had meetings from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, they've
That's
always
how
had
we were
meetings. Yeah.
introduced to the Empire. It was we saw them kicking ass one second and then in a meeting the next. You know.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, so the meeting that the Imperial meeting was really cool, and we got to
Yeah.
see what the Empire looks like, and I don't think they see themselves the way we see them. They look
No.
pretty pathetic. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they look like a real ragtag group
And
Yeah.
now.
but that's what I loved about that scene. I had more of a feeling maybe than any other Imperial meeting scene that I can think of each of those characters in the meeting being their own character.
Yeah,
You
they're
know, they
not
all look so
maintaining Imperial
different.
discipline
Yes,
anymore.
Not at
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
just
you would
living
never see
their own
that
lives.
in a meeting with the Emperor or Vader or
no.
something like
Yeah.
that. You wouldn't see them like taking little pot shots at each other and stuff like that.
And you
Yeah.
also you look at them and see them looking sideways. They're not the best of friends. And
No.
also you can imagine that the people in these holograms have gotten there by some dirty deeds.
Yeah.
Sure, of
against their
course,
own
yeah.
people.
That's
They're
how they've
like
secured their
they're
positions. Yeah.
survivors. Yeah. So they probably weren't the ones in charge to begin with. This is the most cunning, ruthless people left.
Yeah.
That didn't get killed in the bombardment or by
And
Luke
what
flying
do we
around in his
make of
X-wing or
they
something.
had the name drop of Hux in that scene too? We think that was
Is that his
were there
father?
two Huxes?
That's probably his father. Yeah.
Were there two Huxes or only one?
No, just the
There
one.
was a
Oh, okay.
no, there was a Hux that worked for the First Order
No,
before
I
General
mean
Hux.
in that scene, was there only one Hux?
I think there
in
was
the
only
meeting?
one.
I think there's just the
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Okay,
The guy with
I
the beard, the
missed-
scruffy beard and the hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mistook it.
He
So
sounded
he's-
he sounded just like him.
He
So
did, yeah.
He's
He did
got to
that on
be a
purpose,
probably
relation.
his father.
Yeah.
But the way isn't the official story that they have now is that Hux went into the unknown regions and came back and then was going to establish the First Order, but he died or something, and then
Oh, I
his
think I
son
remember
brought
something about
the
that.
First
Yeah.
Order back.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is at least 20 to 25 years prior to the events in
Mhm.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think that's what it's supposed to be, about 25, 30 years. Yeah.
So Hux may be a snotty nosed brat running around, or he may not
Right.
exist yet.
Right.
But,
Exactly.
And the other big name drop in that scene was Thrawn. Now, what is
And honestly, for those of us who have been fans of it or read it and everything, Palayan's a really big name, a really big character
yes,
drop.
I
Mhm.
forgot. Okay,
And not
Yeah.
not for if you're a casual fan and you weren't a fan back then, or you did, I could see it would just be meaningless to you. But
Yeah.
but to me that blew my mind. I did not expect that at all, and I don't know what it means exactly because, like I said, it's not the same exact character. It can't be, but it looked like him.
Yeah.
He was saying the things that Palayan would say. He had his attitude.
Mhm.
So I think they're going to probably adapt that character straight from the page, just have a different story around him.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I really, that was a big takeaway for me. But yeah, Thrawn and the mystery. We've got another mystery box, don't we, with Thrawn?
Yeah.
Like, where is he?
hmm
They
Which,
don't
of
even
course,
seem
we're
to
not
know.
going to get to until we get to Ahsoka.
Right.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they weave all this together, because apparently, like I think you were saying the other day, we were texting Greedo, and you were talking about how like this film that Filoni is supposed to direct is going to be kind of a culmination of all this Mandoverse
Mhm.
stuff, like kind of like a Star Wars version of Endgame for the
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, basically, where they bring all the characters together and kind of and so all these Disney Plus shows are just kind of building all that up to get to that point, I guess.
And you think Thrawn's got to be it? He's got to be the main.
Sure, I would hope
Opponent.
so. As long as they do him correctly, I don't want them to turn. I hope they don't, but I don't want them to turn him into a mustache twirling villain, because he was never that.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think they'll do that.
Thrawn was never that. So
That would be a huge error. And
yeah,
I just hope they give him some chance to develop, unlike they've done with Gideon. Gideon's king of exposition. He shows up and says, "You should be scared
Narrate
because
them.
I'm
Yeah.
scary." But we don't, and we hear about his past, but they limit him very much. Which you don't want to overuse your bad guys because then they lose all the time. Because they can't win constantly, and they also you just get sick of seeing him. And this was thrilling seeing him finally. I mean, I admit the buildup worked, but I hope Thrawn has more of an established few minutes per episode in Ahsoka,
Yeah.
or they get to him by episode 3 or something.
Right.
I hope the quest for Thrawn isn't the whole thrust
the
of the show.
whole and then the last reveal of the end of the season is him.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have to look forward to season 2 of learning about Thrawn.
Right.
Now, if they do it well, I got no complaints really, but I just kind of hope it doesn't go that direction. I hope we get a villain that's more active. Thrawn is brilliant, and you gotta Gideon. He's messing around with just riffraff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not taking on the Republic or any big heroes. He's kind of messing around. Like when he showed up at a bar and said, "I know everything about you guys." It's like, yeah, we're hanging out in a bar. You're bringing a whole legion of troops here to deal with these guys in a bar, but with some bounty hunters.
Right.
Like you're stooping really low, dude. So I hope they give us reasons to fear Thrawn and to show that he's formidable and that. I hope he wins. I hope he wins a lot. And because Thrawn, the key to his character is he's undefeated, basically.
Yeah.
He does not. He always salvages something, even from a stalemate, until the moment he finally loses. And I don't know if they can recreate that or not. But he's really got to be resourceful, clever, motivated by things that aren't just villainous, which
Of course,
is going to require screen time. So
right to develop that. Yeah.
Yeah. But Gideon is just so awesome. I mean, Giancarlo Esposito, what an inspired casting of this guy.
Absolutely,
and he's finally coming out of some of the reserved villainous characters he's known for and getting to chew the scenery a lot more.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, even though it is
does.
exposition, this is him. He shows up and talks a lot, just like me. I show up and talk a lot. He's better at it than me, but he shows up and talks your ear off, and then he flies away when it's time for the action.
Now,
But yeah,
I can't remember. It's just like everything just went by so fast.
Yeah.
He was lying to the Imperials he was talking to, wasn't he?
Evidently.
Working. He was telling them about the Mandalorians and
using that to get requisitions, using the fear of Mandalorians.
Yeah, he was using
Imperials.
that fear to say, "Oh, if you don't give me all this
he's
stuff,
like,
then they're going to take over."
Do you guys want to fight the Mandalorians, or do you want me to do it?
Right.
And they're like, we want you to
that's
do
a
it.
good point. He's basically putting it on himself, saying, "You want me to do it, or you? If you want to do it, by all means,
It's like, I'm happy to handle this for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
But what about the cloning? Oh, what? No, that's not a thing at all.
That's not even happening. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't erase Pershing's mind so you couldn't use him anymore because I want the edge of that technology. He's obviously planning on trying to take over, more power to him.
Especially because he immediately turned the topic of conversation. Everybody's like, "Oh, Thrawn's coming back. Maybe Thrawn will come back. Maybe Thrawn will come back." And he's like, "We've heard about this for years. He's not coming back. I think it's time for new leadership." And meanwhile, doing this,
Yeah, I think he's been plotting this and using all sides.
Sure.
And he's a great character because he's Thrawn light, basically, and he has the spies in place. And
one other question about him, and since they found the Beskar in the Imperial shuttle that he was extracted from, we don't know yet how that got there and what Mandalorians were involved in taking them away from the New Republic, do we?
Well, no, but I think for me the question's almost answered. I think it's because he revealed that at the end of this episode that he's mined the Beskar off of Mandalore to create these new dark soldiers. So he had his own dark troopers come rescue him.
Troopers had Beskar armor, and that's why miraculously
and he was getting
Beskar to survive the shots and the direct hits and all that. Okay, I see. Finally.
So they've been using the mines and stuff. But my question is, I thought from the implications of the series that forging Beskar was a secret known only to the Mandalorians and probably very
Yes,
closely guarded.
God.
So how does he have all these? How does he have his own suit?
Mhm.
Did they crack the code of how to forge it, or is it
Right.
not really a code? And maybe the Mandalorians just ritualize it to make it mean more to
I'm
them.
still worried about the armor in regard to that now,
I am
because
too.
they spend a lot of time showing unnecessary time showing her leave the planet,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
before the battle begins, so that you would be sure to know that she wasn't there and she wasn't captured or killed
Right.
by the. And so there's something going on still with her. She's going to have a big role to play, I
Well,
think, in the next episode.
There's a couple of quick things I want to say about that I've been thinking about. It's just purely speculation, but if she is the character from Clone Wars who served Darth Maul, and had the horns on her helmet and all that, this could be a redemption arc for her, which would mean she probably dies and takes the helmet off. Takes the helmet off right before she reveals who she is before she dies. She does something redemptive like save the fleet or there's no communication between the planet and the fleet. So those two things we're not going to know until they're brought
Yeah.
together. What happened, or the people, like if you get in dire straits on the surface, if the fleet wins because of her, then they can come down and rescue the people on the surface, or vice versa. So I think there's a chance if she dies, or that she could die, reveal her identity and why she's done what she's done, and it was to make up for serving Darth Maul and helping to bring about the collapse of
Right.
Mandalore and everything. Or it could just be the same old armor we've always seen, or it could be that she's a fanatic and has made a deal with Gideon for some reason, to do with prophecy or the Mandalorian religion, that he's manipulated her. And she's
And
forged
we
this
have
stuff
yet
for
to
him or shown
see
him how to do it.
we have yet to see the mythosaur too, and
Right.
the Mandalorians that survived that last fight ran back deeper into Mandalore. Is that right? Is that where they were
Mhm.
going? Down underground?
Yeah, I think the Mythosaur is going to bail them out at the end,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
probably
I
so.
think so too.
Yeah.
which is not looking good for Moff Gideon, because I think a
Yeah.
bite from the Mythosaur is probably too much even for him.
Yeah, too much pressure even for the
I hope they
armor
don't
is gonna
kill him
protect
off though. But another thing I'm looking forward to is they took Din Djarin to the debriefing room,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. and that's probably where he's flying off. Unless he's going to oversee the space battle or something. I can't wait for a scene between those two
Yeah.
where
Oh,
Gideon's got him, and maybe we'll get the annual appearance without a helmet.
Yeah, now
Din Djarin.
we're in the reverse of the situation that we were in at the end of season 2, where now the Mandalorian is held captive and Grogu has to come back with the other Mandos to save him. So
Will they
that's
save him though?
interesting. I
I'm
don't
having my
know.
doubts at this point. I'm
Yeah.
really
I was worried too, when they were taking him, and I had for a brief moment had a feeling he actually might die, but I thought, no, they can't do that. They wouldn't dare do that. But
I don't think they'll go that far with any of the main characters, but I could see story wise either one of them Bo-Katan or Din Djarin dying, because she's been struggling with doubts up until this very moment, and she's been the kind of the cause of a lot of this,
Mhm.
so she could die. Typical people redeeming themselves do it through death, and they don't give them the chance to live on and right their wrongs in their life. So I could see it either way, and I could see them just being shocking and trying to shake things up by killing off Din Djarin if Pedro Pascal doesn't want to be in this anymore.
yeah, that kind of worries me.
And they keep those secrets really well. So I would have thought we'd have heard about it, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about killing off characters, why don't we just talk about the incredible death at the end? That was a great way to end that episode. That was
that was sad. Yeah,
That really
what a
was. Yeah, I
fight.
didn't
And
see
then
that coming at all.
just to end
the
with
smoke rising
silence
from his
and
body
yeah,
was
his body is just
so final.
Yeah.
after he's
like-
been one of the most prominent physical presences throughout the series, to see
Right.
him just fallen.
He also has
and-
risen from the dead before. We thought he was killed on Navarre.
Yeah.
And so he seemed like a survivor. All these guys that are left are hardcore survivors, but I think there was a very Tolkien feel to this whole episode. People started speaking in formalities from the very beginning,
Yeah.
saying, "I have a request." I had,
Yeah.
they're using formal language with each other, and that's when you get into like the Return of the King
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings, as people get more and more formal. And Paz Vizsla's death here, his last stand, was extremely. I mean, I know there's been tons of last stands you could equate that to, but it makes me think of. I'm going to nerd out here for a second. I apologize for wasting everyone's time, but Huron from the Silmarillion, who was Turin's father,
Oh yeah, yeah.
at the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, which they have the Night of Unnumbered Tears here, or something like that, right? Don't
Yeah,
they?
the Night of a Thousand Tears.
Down of a Thousand Tears. There's
Yeah.
a Battle of Unnumbered Tears in Silmarillion where Morgoth releases all of his forces from before Mordor. There was Angband, and Huron is a human who held the rear guard for the last hope, the last king of the elves, to escape, and he stayed on a ford with his people, and all of his people were killed around him. And he had an axe and he killed the orcs as they came at him. And every time he killed an orc, he said, "Day will come again, day will come again," in Elvish. And he was chopping their heads off, and eventually his axe melted from the blood of the orcs and the trolls that he was slaughtering because it's so acidic or whatever. And Morgoth ordered him taken alive, so he was cutting off their arms, but their arms still hung on to him even after they were dead and stuff. And so he eventually was exhausted, and they took him alive. But that's one of my favorite scenes from the Silmarillion, and this was very reminiscent down to the gun melting and this is the way, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I love last stands like that. They're so sad. And even Din Djarin said, "Your song is not yet written." We're getting into some weird poetic,
right,
heroic myth territory when they're
Yeah.
talking like that. Very
Yeah.
cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how awkward or weird it is, the way that people are talking and stuff. I just
No,
think
I
it's
love that
really
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, I got no problem with that at all.
Yeah. It was a
I
great
love the
death.
whole
Is that one of
feeling
the
of it.
best deaths they've ever had in Star Wars?
And that was a great.
There's some
and
from Clone Wars that probably rival it, but
I wasn't expecting the Praetorian Guards to show up in
no.
That was
This is why it's so much fun to be spoiler free.
It kept going on, and I thought, wow. And I even thought for a minute he might survive it and get away. It just kept going on. I thought when
they should have stuck around.
Yeah, when
Mandalorians, they could have
Bo-Katan
won.
left, he kept going, and then it looked like he was going to win. But I
Right.
thought when she left him, he would have like a few moments, and then he would
I did
die
too, and
beyond
then
the
just
door.
keep him off for
Yeah.
5 seconds and then
But
fall.
that was a wonderful fight scene, and
really well done.
kudos to the actor that
Mhm.
played Paz Vizsla. There's wonderful
It's
stuff there, wonderful
Tight
choreography.
Fletcher.
Yeah,
is his
that
name.
was excellent.
Yeah, it was terrific.
It really was.
He owned that whole thing. That was when he was throwing those guys against the wall.
Yeah.
It's like this is like Wookiee level rage here.
Yeah, it really was. It looked like an enraged Wookiee going at it.
This reminds me of the kung fu movies when as soon as you get outnumbered, you become super powerful.
Yeah, exactly. You can suddenly start throwing
or as
them
soon as
away.
they stab you in the guts, you're like, okay, it's on now. I'm mad.
Yeah, I suddenly found my strength.
Right.
So what
yeah.
what do we think about IG-12?
Oh, I love that one. At first, I was kind of iffy about it, but I thought it worked out really well.
I thought it worked out okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll have to see how they play it out from here on. But
I love Grief Karga, and it was like kind of an extension of Grief Karga, like more of his bad ideas,
Yeah.
Like I said, he's like the crazy uncle that like
Right.
oh,
Wants to
what
give
do
his
you-
kid a gun.
well, he's gonna smoke eventually. I just
Yeah,
gave him one cigarette.
Exactly. Might as well just give him a cigarette now.
Yeah, I took him out on the motorcycle, and he didn't have a helmet, but we just went around the block. Come on.
Just let him try it out in my office. It'll be
Right.
okay.
I'm sure you won't let him try it out in my office.
Let's just see if he fits. That was
Right.
some of the all-time great lines.
Oh,
This is how
wow.
people end up in the ER, Grief Karga.
I mean, I know we're wanting IG-11 to come back, but if you can't have him back yet, or you're holding off on it a little bit, I thought that was a fun kind of interim way, to play with that.
Yeah.
And it was really cool when Grogu used it to step in between the fighting Mandalorian.
That was great.
That was
That was one of my
neat.
favorite moments.
That was
yeah.
neat. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
Grogu does have more to his character than just
Yeah.
eating
cooing
everything in
and-
sight. Yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah,
being
he's more
annoying.
than just comic relief. Yeah.
He does have some kind of he's a little immoral, but he has a overall a moral compass when he doesn't want to see people hurt.
I think
Yeah.
you're right though. I think he's a pacifist because
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
seems
I
like
think so
anytime
too.
there's any sort
Mhm.
of aggression going on, he's like, no, 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 I don't want anything to do with this. Yeah.
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 Yeah, he tries to stop it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like how they gave him only the yes and no option, kind of like that wheelchair thing for Captain Pike. And
Right.
Yes,
Star Trek.
exactly. I was thinking the same thing like Captain Pike.
They didn't even give
Once
him
for
a yes,
yes,
no.
twice
Yeah.
for no.
You don't want Grogu talking full sentences, not yet.
Right.
Yeah, that was cool. What about Greedo was talking about the use of more formalized mythic language. That wonderful scene with Mando and Bo-Katan when he pledged his loyalty to her. That was his dialogue in that scene was incredible because it put forward what he really believes, the belief in honor.
Mhm.
I mean, he expressed it really verbally, I think, for the first time fully in
Mhm.
the whole series.
Well, I think so, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of solidified what we felt about his character all along, and that
Well,
he
he doesn't care
pledges
about
that.
politics.
No, and he pledges that in service to her because he sees her now as an honorable character, as someone. And I love how he used the word the character. You know, he
Mhm.
said that he
Mhm.
judges people by their character. That
Right.
was, and I just love hearing that said straightforward, you know, and that he's come to the point where he can say that to someone. Shows an evolution in him too. I think he's
I
not quite as
agree.
laconic as he used to be.
Right. He's actually
He's
showing
not as
some spirit
suspicious
and
either.
some drive to be a part of this movement. Yeah.
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 Like he's learned to overcome his suspicion of droids,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and he's not as suspicious of outsiders. He's more like he could have judged her on her past, that she has a
Yeah.
bad past where she wasn't always loyal and honorable. She let ambition drive her, but he's just looking at her as she is now, and saying what you are right now is good enough. You know, that's the only way I see people is in the present.
And
Hmm.
I don't worry about
that
anything
came
else.
after her admission that she had surrendered the dark
Right.
saber to Moff
Right.
Gideon, which
Right.
is
That was after that
remarkable.
admission. Exactly.
Well, he liked that because the
Yeah.
others, I think the others were upset by it
Yeah.
because the Mandalorian doesn't surrender and
Doesn't
the
surrender,
consequences
yep.
were terrible. But he saw it as she gave up everything to try to save the people that he comes from, the scattered refugees, the dispossessed people, that she tried to prevent that. And so it showed compassion from leaders for the small people and a sense of responsibility for them, which he didn't know they had,
Yeah.
from people like her sitting
Right.
in her castle, and everything. And then he's been taught differently that
Yeah.
they're the enemy and that they were corrupt, and that's why all this happened. But he's seeing that, she may have been corrupt at one point in time, but it was really the corruption of the empire that caused all this to happen. It was the betrayal of people with no honor, which is
Right.
Moff Gideon
Yeah.
perfectly represents.
Perfectly represents exactly.
I think he lied to everyone, like everyone in the entire episode he lied to.
Yeah, he really did.
Except for maybe the spy at the very beginning,
Right.
Elia Kane.
Mhm.
Oh, and that was a great scene too.
That was really good. That probe droid looks so ominous. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I'm thinking like that thing is wandering around the back alleys of Coruscant. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And I will
Very
say,
creepy.
I want to say one more thing too, to the people that just bashed episode 3, I think it
Mhm.
was, that had the Imperial half of the episode.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Why?
Such a great episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
such a great
what
why?
episode.
wonderful episode.
Are
Yeah,
you
that was
so-
one of my
are
top
you
3 episodes
so-
ever of the series.
And I'm not disrespecting their opinions, but why can't you just relax a little and enjoy what they put in front of you? It's like me with last week. I was like looking at the clock and I just couldn't enjoy it as much. So I understand, I can relate, but
But
that
was
stuff was
episode 3
good. I mean,
too.
yeah, that was
That
good.
was
And,
early on.
and if
Yeah.
you're not going to reveal the villains yet, you got to give us something
Yeah.
from
Something,
them.
yep.
And I thought it was just really, really well done from all the details. There was just incredible detail in that episode, from the soundtrack to the characters, to the costumes, to the dialogue. I just thought it was so well done. I know there was still, some weird plot holes and stuff like there is in every Mandalorian episode. They don't handle logistics well, like kind of like what Game of Thrones got with, like, well, we're gonna go visit the other side of the planet now, and the next week they're there.
Yeah, and they're just immediately there. Yeah.
They sacrifice a lot of the logistics and things that make common sense, but it's entertainment at the end of the day,
Exactly.
And if you that stuff does bother me, and I deduct points, but I love this show. I mean, I just love this show, and this episode in moments like this make it worth it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a chore to sit through it.
No, not at all.
Even at its worst, it's not like I'm in the debriefing chamber or whatever with Moff Gideon being tortured.
Yeah, exactly.
I think their heart is in the right place, and yeah, I could be cynical like a lot of people and say, Praetorian Guards, Pucks, this is all links to the sequel trilogy, and I'm just not I'm gonna take my ball and go home because I didn't like the sequel trilogy. But you know what? It's there. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. What we have is this here right now. And are they going to disown and erase the sequel trilogy? That's a fantasy.
Never going to happen. No, they're never going to take that away. Yeah.
No, they may make changes, and I think Filoni said at one point we can exist in the spaces around that. And I think that's the best hope you have is that they create entertainment that somehow props up and makes the sequel trilogy a little better, although I don't know
what
how they'll do that.
Did for the prequels.
That's what I was literally saying. Yeah, what Clone Wars did for Revenge of the Sith, it made it that much more impactful.
But I'm not going to sit here and crap on what they're doing right now because they're trying to have continuity, with something I don't like. That has nothing to do with my enjoyment of this, so. That's all I want to say was episode 3 kind of for me paid off in this episode. And that intro, I love that character, Elia Kane character. I want to see her again. And I wouldn't have thought twice about her from her appearance at the end of season 2. So it's world building, it's character building, and we need more characters. You got to kill some off. You need some to replace them. You need more than one bad guy, and you got to be patient sometimes and appreciate when they're doing things right. I think we get in our own way sometimes. I definitely do, but because Star Wars is like expectation laden, and when your expectations aren't met, you get frustrated.
Right.
But anyway.
All right. So do we want to do our ratings?
Oh wait, I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, what you got?
That incredible sand ship. I have to.
I love that thing.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was really well done.
Vehicle, a single episode vehicle, and I am in love with it. That's really cool. But
that was excellent.
We knew it was going down. I mean,
it was a glass cruiser.
Right.
Glass skating across glass.
Yeah, the sandworm took it out.
Yeah.
We knew that was going to happen, but it was cool while it lasted.
Right. Yeah, that was excellent. Very well done.
Okay,
I think they threw some designs in this episode just because they were done and people worked on them really hard. Like the glass worm that came up or whatever. He looked super cool. I mean, really, but we only got glimpses of him. And that ship looked like something you should have a couple of episodes set on. It was really good.
Yeah, they only got one episode out of it.
Yeah, well, a quarter of an episode or something. Boy, when it was destroyed, that was really well done.
Yes, it was.
Bodies flying everywhere and the debris and everything. Yeah, that was incredible.
Really well done.
And all the Mandos flying off of it in all directions.
Yeah, and the dropship stuff, that was really great. I loved all the that was just so.
And the combat and stunts, like I said, the jetpacks are a dicey proposition to execute. And I think they've gotten better and better at it. Yeah. So
our ratings.
Yep, let's go ahead and do our ratings. Who wants to go first this week?
I'll go first because I don't think I've gone first.
Went first last time.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just remember I just saw it.
Exactly.
I'll find more to nitpick later, but the exposition, which I feel like they wrote themselves into a hole where they had to have this exposition. I feel like if they had planned the season better, we wouldn't have had to sit through so much of that. although it was done well. And Moff Gideon is a great guy to deliver exposition. But I mean, I feel like we could put together a 20-minute supercut of all this exposition, you know, from all his appearances. It's just that's all this guy does. So so I take off, you know, half a point for just for the kind of poor planning of the season to where we have to have all this exposition to tell us where we're at.
Yeah, Gundark.
I think I'm going to give this one a 10.
A 10. Okay.
I'm going to put this one up with my other favorites, The Jedi, where we get to see Ahsoka in the end of season 2. And I think back about the Great Dragon episode, I think I gave that a 9. And this one is up there, even above that. So a 10 for me. It's everything that I love about the show. It's cool.
All right. Well, I'm agreeing with Greedo. I don't know how, but I am. I'm going to say 9.5. And honestly, there was nothing that I didn't like about the episode to take away the half a point. It's just that next week is the finale, so I'm leaving a little bit of wiggle room for next week. But there was really nothing to dislike for me. Nothing to dislike about this episode. I loved every aspect of it.
It felt epic, and I was actually worried when they were lassoing Mando.
Yeah,
I was getting really worried.
I was getting a little nervous. They're like, are they actually going to kill him off? What?
I thought Gideon was going to reveal the Darksaber Mark II, like he had made something,
like he'd made his
combat
own.
it. I thought he was gonna stab him through the heart or something. I got some bad vibes from that.
I did too.
That's good. I mean, that's the kind of stakes we want to see.
Absolutely, yeah.
And keep us on the edge of our seat for next time. But
that was good.
So we're looking forward to the finale. Wow.
Very much so.
Very much looking forward to
this
episode.
This episode was probably worth getting our channel banned for having too much Disney Plus content when we show the reaction video. We'll probably get flagged and banned. Because there was a lot of good stuff.
I'm gonna have a fun couple of days.
Good luck at editing this.
20 times.
Acceptable. This is not the way. This is not. No. Grogu is like
no.
Copyright people. No. 5 days later. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Exactly. All right. Well, that's our wrap on episode 7 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. As you can tell, we loved it across the board. So we'll be back next week to do the same thing all over again with episode 8, the season finale, season 3. So you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell us what you think. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, please leave us what you thought of this episode, because we'd love to look at your comments of how you feel about this season and what you think. Speculate about what is gonna happen next week. If we get enough comments with some good speculation and stuff, and definitely we'll read them on the next video we make.
We'll read them on the next episode for sure. All right, thanks guys. Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
I feel like
I know. That was really good.
You will never find the more wretched hive, scum and
I don't know how they made me upset over this big dumb armored guy.
I know.
I've never even seen his face.
Yeah.
Sing your love. Sing your love. Come on, sing your love. Singing your love. Your love. Singing your love. At the Cantina Club.
Let's do it.
You guys ready?
Oh, I'm excited. Is everybody pretty much unspoiled?
No.
I am.
You saw a thumbnail from hell?
I saw a couple of thumbnails. I was even telling Gundark that I've seen one minor and 2 potentially major, if they're true. You know, if the clickbait headlines I saw on the YouTube things, if they're true, then I'm like, okay, well, I guess that won't be a surprise. So,
Din Djarin dies.
Yeah, exactly. Han and Leia show up. No. Yeah, no.
Let's just hope it's good. Let's all cross our fingers on screen here. We're not negative Nancy, so we want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Let's hope it's good. They deliver again on a series finale.